Hey all, Avros here, back with the next fight, the second of the 3 Lufenia fights we had for the Aurora Equinox event. This one is for the Dawn Lufenia. The boss for this one is the Flawless, so be prepared to kill this boss twice, as it will, per usual, cast Curaga on its first death, and possibly again when it hits 60% HP left the second time you get there, if it is not disabled in some way, which is also how the orb in this fight is controlled. The orb itself spawns at 50% HP with a 12 count and disappears when the boss dies, and reappears a second time when it hits 50% HP again after it's healed. The orb increases on its Curaga cast below 60% HP, or if the boss is unable to attack on its turn by a count of 12. So for this boss, it is also immune to the following disables, so keep this in mind when you're building your team. It is immune to Terror, Sleep, Confuse, and HP attack disable. This basically only leaves Paralysis as your most viable way of dealing with this requirement. Due to the high count on the orb and the single boss in this fight, it leaves a couple of strategies for how to actually approach this one. Firstly, you can rush the boss down as hard and fast as possible, or use someone with Paralysis to deal with the orb. I opted with the Paralysis strategy for using Bartz for this fight. So the idea with the team that I brought along was to rush the boss down as fast as possible to get the orb to spawn, and still deal with the orb via Paralysis where possible. So due to it being a single target fight, who better to bring than Tifa for DPS? Ashe was along as the third party member for on-demand Paralysis on her EX attack, and that was my way of dealing with the orb. So the start of the fight was to get everyone's buffs up, mastery up on Bartz, and go hard on the boss with Tifa. When the Flawless got to 63% HP, I switched my Tifa out for friend Tifa to be able to rush the orb phase the first time so it would heal. A tip here is of course to keep whatever Paralysis you're using for the fight until after you get the Flawless to below 50% HP and the orb to spawn, as it will cleanse all of its debuffs as the orb spawns. After the orb was up, I ran the turns doing as much damage as possible with friend Tifa to Bartz's last one on the tracker before the boss's next turn, went for Fujin's LD call into Bartz BT. This left the boss at about 22% HP and yet to heal. I then paralysed it with Ashe's EX for its next turn, and used friend Tifa's last LD use here as well, and when it looked like I wasn't going to kill the boss before its next turn, I opted to use Ramuh's summon as well. This made it heal during the summon phase and remove the orb, allowing me to control the rest of the fight without too much concern. The rest of the fight from here was fairly straightforward. Using Ramuh's stun on Judgment Bolt to prevent its next turn, I managed to get it down to 66% HP, used Jack's Call to rush the last of its HP down so it would get the orb to spawn and stop the heal with the Ashe stun at 50% HP, and once the orb was up and the boss got stunned, I used Krile's Call to get a delayed stun from Judgment post the Ashe stun being removed. So this allowed for Judgment to cast after the Ashe stun was removed, and then apply its own stun for the next turn, giving me 2 turns worth of stun without too much trouble. This all happened at around 24% HP remaining on its second life bar, and then it was just a matter of using my highest damage attacks, delaying with Dolphin Blow where I could on Tifa, and rushing the last of its HP down. This ended the fight at around 40 turns, with the stun just coming back up in time before it would have gotten another turn, and this actually was one of the harder fights overall to get the timing of everything down for my clears with Bartz. The issue with this one is that the boss does have a lot of single target HP attacks that it likes to use, and most of the time when it did manage to get one of these off, it would kill one of my party members, so it did need to use a lot of the stunning and everything around that to make sure that this didn't occur on my actual clear, which is why I did opt for that early Ramuh summon as well. On that note, thank you for watching, and if you'd like any further assistance with this fight, please ask in the comments down below, and enjoy the rest of the video.
けにはいかない。助かっちゃった。立ち止まるわけにはいかない。成敗。助け合いだ。引き受けます。おしまいにしよう。打ち砕け。引き受けます。穴から俺は本気だよ。信じます。はあ。穴から俺は本気だよ。穴から俺は